Success isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's for those who decide to take control of their lives and make things happen. It's about making a choice every single day to show up, do the work, and rise to the occasion, even when it's hard. Remember this: the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. It's that simple. In this video, we're diving into 5 powerful lessons that can change your life forever. These aren't theories or pie-in-the-sky ideas. These are practical, real-world strategies you can start using today to unlock your full potential. We're going to talk about why your daily standards will determine how high you rise, how to stop waiting for the perfect time, because there's never going to be one, and why setting high expectations for yourself is uncomfortable at first, but pays off in ways you can't imagine. These lessons aren't always easy to hear, but they're the truth. If you're tired of feeling stuck or waiting for a breakthrough that never seems to come, this is your moment. You have the power to change everything, but it starts with the decisions you make right now. Stick with me through this video and get ready to take your life to a level you've always dreamed of. Let's get started and make today the beginning of the rest of your success. Number 1, make personal growth a non-negotiable. If you want your life to rise, if you want your results to change in a way that you can feel and see and measure, then you have to become someone who takes their personal growth seriously, like it's oxygen. Because everything changes when you make it non-negotiable. See, most people only grow when they're forced to, when they hit a wall, when things fall apart, when life leaves them no other option. But that kind of growth is reaction-based. It's uncomfortable, it's usually painful, and it's always slower than it has to be. The real shift happens when you stop waiting for life to push you, and you start pushing yourself on purpose every single day. People love the idea of success. They admire it, they chase it. But what many never realize is that success is not something you catch up to. Success is something you align with. It comes to the person who becomes the right kind of person, the person who prepares, the person who sharpens their thinking, builds better habits, and chooses consistency over convenience. If you're not investing in yourself on purpose, you're not really preparing for much of anything. You're just hoping things will get better, and hope without work is empty. Hope without preparation is noise, and life doesn't respond to noise. It responds to effort. What's hard to hear sometimes is that no one else can do this work for you. You can have the best mentor. You can listen to every success podcast. You can fill your feed with motivation, but none of it replaces the inner decision to grow. You have to own that. And when you do, when you finally say to yourself, this is no longer optional, your whole life starts to move in a different direction. Now I know, growth isn't always exciting. It doesn't always feel good. In fact, it's usually uncomfortable because it forces you to see yourself clearly. It makes you deal with things you'd rather avoid. It asks you to admit where you've been holding back, where you've been distracted, and where you've been settling. And that's not easy, but it's real. And real growth always leads to real progress. It's easy to say you want a better life. It's a lot harder to sit down with yourself and say, where am I still thinking small? Where have I stopped trying? Where do I need to grow up, get disciplined, or become more focused? Those are tough conversations, but those are the conversations that change your direction. Personal growth isn't about making huge moves every day. It's about making the decision that every day counts. Even the quiet days, even the boring days, even the days when you don't feel like doing much. It's about doing what's necessary, not what's easy. Reading the book when you could scroll your phone. Writing your goals when you could just talk about them. Practicing focus when your mind wants to wander. These small actions are what build a powerful life. Here's something you should really understand. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your habits, and your habits are born from your mindset. So if you want to upgrade your habits, you've got to upgrade the way you think. That's why personal growth is the key. It resets your internal standards. It shifts how you see time, how you handle pressure, how you respond to setbacks. And that shift, it's priceless, because it turns you into someone who doesn't quit, someone who follows through, someone who gets things done. When you grow on purpose, you stop looking for shortcuts. You stop needing motivation all the time. You start showing up whether it's fun or not. And the people around you notice. Opportunities notice. you build momentum. And nothing feels better than earning your progress, because you made yourself ready for it. There's a kind of confidence that comes from knowing you've put in the work no one else sees, that you didn't cut corners, that you've been preparing when others were waiting. And that confidence, real confidence, can't be given to you. It comes from growth, from effort, from consistency. You don't need to change everything overnight, but you do need to decide that your growth matters more than entertainment, more than other people's approval, more than comfort. It matters more than distractions, more than delays, more than excuses, because the cost of not growing is staying the same. And staying the same when you know you're meant for more. That's painful. That eats at you over time. It builds frustration. It builds regret. But when you're growing, even if the outside doesn't change right away, something inside you starts to feel alive. You walk differently. You talk differently. You expect more from yourself. And that changes what you attract. That changes what you believe is possible. So here's what you do. You make it a rule that every single day, something must be done to grow you. It might be reading. It might be journaling. It might be reflecting on what went wrong and why. It might be fixing a habit. It might be having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. But you do something. You take responsibility. You take control. You build yourself like your future depends on it. Because it does. This is how you separate from the crowd. Most people are just going through the motions. They do what's expected, not what's necessary. But the people who grow on purpose, they move with clarity. They don't wait to feel like it. They know discipline matters more than mood. They live like their time is valuable, because they've trained themselves to value their own growth first. You want real change, then you have to become the person who can handle real change. That means maturing in your thinking. That means healing what needs to be healed. That means breaking old habits and building new ones. That means surrounding yourself with better conversations. It means tracking your time, protecting your energy, and living like you matter, because you do. This is the path. This is how you stop wishing and start creating. Growth is the beginning of everything. Your income, your peace, your clarity, your confidence, your opportunities. All of it is tied to who you are becoming. And if you're not growing, you're limiting all of it. So don't treat it like a side project. Don't treat it like a backup plan. Make it your standard. Make it your way of life. And in time, you'll look around and realize the best parts of your life were built by the quiet decision you made to grow when no one else was watching. That's where the real success begins. And once you start living like this, you'll never go back to your old mindset again. You'll be too far ahead. Number 2, success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to work. There's a reason some people seem to move forward, while others just stay stuck year after year. It's not luck. It's not fate. And it's definitely not about wishing harder than the next person. See, success is not moved by how much you want it. It's moved by how much you're willing to work for it. The world doesn't hand out rewards for wishful thinking. It responds to effort. It rewards those who do the work long after the mood to do the work has left. And the truth is, most people never get what they want because they never put in the kind of effort that earns it. You can sit around and talk about your goals. You can write them down 100 times. You can repeat affirmations, make vision boards, tell your friends what you're going to do one day. But if your actions don't match your words, then none of that really matters. It's not the idea of success that creates results. It's the execution. It's the early mornings you don't post about, the late nights where no one's clapping for you, and the small decisions you make daily that add up to something big over time. You can dream all you want, but dreams without discipline are just empty hope. There's a reason people say talk is cheap, because it is. Anyone can say they want something. Anyone can say they're going to change. But change only shows up for the person who works like they mean it, like they're not waiting for permission, like they're not waiting for the perfect time or the right conditions. They get up, they show up, and they do the work whether it's easy or not. That's the person who starts building momentum. And momentum, once it starts working for you, becomes your biggest advantage. Now, people often confuse being busy with being productive. You can be running around all day, filling your calendar, checking boxes, But that doesn't mean you're doing the work that actually moves your life forward. Success doesn't show up just because you've been doing something. It shows up when you've been doing the right things. The things that challenge you. The things that push you. The things that take focus, patience, and repetition. And that's the part most people skip. Because it's not glamorous. It's not exciting every day. But it's necessary. The results you want will never come from what's convenient. They only come from what's consistent. There's a strange comfort in sitting back and saying, "One day I'll make it." But that comfort is a trap. Because while you're sitting there waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is working. Someone else is building skills. Someone else is improving themselves when no one's watching. And eventually they pull ahead, not because they're better, but because they moved, they acted. They kept showing up even when it was hard, even when it was slow. And that's what success responds to. Movement, progress, grit. See, a wish can feel good. It can give you a temporary high, but it doesn't build anything. Work, though, real work, it builds character. It builds resilience. It builds a track record. And that's what separates those who only talk about change from those who actually create it. If you want results, you have to give effort. Not sometimes, not when it feels easy, but day in and day out, especially when it's inconvenient. We live in a time where everything is fast. Fast food, fast internet, fast answers. But success, real meaningful lasting success, that's not fast. It's earned in small deliberate steps. It's in the hours nobody sees. The practice nobody applauds. The sacrifices nobody hears about. It's built in the silence. And you'll know you're on the right path when you stop needing applause to keep going. There's something powerful about becoming the kind of person who doesn't rely on motivation, who doesn't wait to feel ready, who works anyway, because that kind of person becomes unstoppable. They don't depend on circumstances. They create their own weather. And life starts to respect people like that. It starts to open doors. Because when you prove you can handle responsibility, life gives you more. You can't fake effort. You can't fake consistency. You can post all the quotes, all the reels, all the big dreams, but eventually the results will show what you've really been doing. And that's either the most exciting thing or the most uncomfortable thing, depending on how honest you've been with your work. If you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of saying someday, then the answer isn't to wish harder. It's to work smarter, work consistently, work with intention, and understand that you're not owed anything. No one owes you a successful life. You have to go build it. And that's good news, because it means it's in your hands. You're not waiting on anyone else. You don't have to hope someone chooses you. You choose you, and then you get to work like your future depends on it. Because it does. You might not see the results right away. That's normal. Work often feels invisible in the beginning. You might feel like you're putting in the time, the energy, the focus, and not getting much back. But don't be fooled. That's how growth works. It's like planting a seed. You water it, you care for it. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. And eventually it shows. But only if you stay with it. That's the kind of mindset you need. The kind that doesn't need constant proof to keep going. The kind that knows showing up today is planting something for tomorrow. Because success doesn't knock on your door. It waits for the person who knocks on it every day. With persistence and purpose. So let this be a reminder. You can want more. You can dream bigger. You can imagine the best life possible. But none of it means anything without work. Not effort one time. Not effort for a week. But effort like your life depends on it. Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with wishes. It's filled with work. Honest, unfiltered, uncomfortable work. The kind that makes you better. The kind that shapes your future. And once you embrace that, once you truly lean into that truth, something changes inside you. You stop chasing quick fixes. You stop looking for the easy way. You start focusing on growth, on improvement, on execution. And the best part, when the results finally show up, when you get what you've been working for, you'll know deep down that you earned it. That it wasn't luck. That it wasn't chance. It was you, showing up, every day, doing the work. That's the path to success. And once you commit to it fully, you'll wonder why you ever thought wishing would be enough. Number 3. The fastest way to grow is to do what you're avoiding. There's a simple truth about personal growth that most people overlook. The fastest way to get better, the quickest path to progress, lies in doing the very thing you've been avoiding. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're all wired to avoid discomfort, to steer clear of the things that make us feel uneasy or unsure. But here's the thing. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you step outside it and face the things you've been resisting. If you truly want to accelerate your development, then it's time to confront what you've been avoiding. The human mind loves to take the easy road. It's natural. It's how we're built to survive. Avoid pain, seek pleasure, stay safe. But when it comes to achieving anything worth achieving, the rules of the game change. Success doesn't happen when you play it safe. It doesn't happen when you shy away from hard decisions, uncomfortable conversations, or the challenging tasks that demand your best effort. Success happens when you do exactly what you've been resisting, and you do it consistently. The sooner you start doing what you've been avoiding, the faster your growth will come. Think about the things you've been putting off for weeks, months, or maybe even years. What's on your mind right now that you know you need to do, but you keep finding ways to avoid it? Maybe it's that tough conversation you've been avoiding with a friend or colleague. Maybe it's the project at work that feels overwhelming, so you keep procrastinating. Maybe it's a health goal that you've been pushing aside because it feels too hard. Whatever it is, the one thing that's holding you back is that you haven't faced it head on. And until you do, growth will always be just out of reach. We all know the feeling of resistance. It's that nagging voice that says, "I'll do it later," or "I'm not ready yet." But here's the reality. You'll never feel fully ready. There's no such thing as the perfect time to take action. The perfect time is right now, and the thing you're avoiding is the key to unlocking the next level of your life. The longer you put it off, the longer you stay stuck in your current situation. Every time you avoid something, you're reinforcing a habit of procrastination, a pattern of inaction that keeps you exactly where you are. And you can't grow if you're stuck in that loop. Growth is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the decision to act even when you're not ready. It's about taking the first step even when it feels scary or uncomfortable. Every successful person you admire has faced the same choice at some point, the choice to confront what they were avoiding. And each one of them made the decision to go for it, to take the leap, and that's what propelled them forward. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They created the conditions by showing up, doing the work, and facing the fear head on. Now, I know that facing what you're avoiding isn't easy. It requires courage. It requires the ability to embrace discomfort and push through it. But here's the secret. Once you face it, once you do the thing that's been holding you back, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. The fear, the resistance, it's all just a mental block, a story you've been telling yourself. And when you step past it, you realize that it wasn't as hard as you thought. You realize that the obstacle was never as big as your mind made it out to be. Let's talk about procrastination for a second, because it's a huge part of avoiding what needs to be done. Procrastination doesn't just happen because you're lazy. It happens because there's fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But here's the truth. Procrastination is a defense mechanism. It's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. But by avoiding the thing you need to do, you're not protecting yourself. You're keeping yourself stuck. Every time you avoid taking action, you reinforce your fear, and it becomes harder and harder to break out of the cycle. The way to break free from procrastination is simple. Do the thing you're avoiding. Do it even when you don't feel like it. Do it even when you're afraid. Because every time you take action despite the fear, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. You're building confidence. You're teaching your mind that discomfort is not something to be afraid of, but something to embrace. And over time, you'll find that what once felt impossible becomes easier. What once seemed like a huge mountain to climb becomes just another step in the journey. When you start doing what you're avoiding, you'll also start to notice something powerful: momentum. Momentum is the key to making progress faster. When you take action, no matter how small, it creates a ripple effect. One step leads to another, and soon the task that once seemed insurmountable becomes a series of small, manageable steps that you can tackle one at a time. The more you face what you've been avoiding, the more momentum you build, and momentum is the fuel that drives success. The real magic happens when you make facing your fears a habit. When you get comfortable being uncomfortable, you open up a whole new world of possibilities. You stop waiting for the right time and start making the right time. You stop waiting for motivation to hit and start creating your own motivation through action. And you stop letting fear control you. Instead, you control the fear. You become the one who shows up, who takes charge, and who does what others are too afraid to do. There's a certain power that comes with doing what you're avoiding. It's the power of choice, the power to decide that you're no longer going to let fear or procrastination dictate your life, the power to take control of your future and shape it according to your own terms. And that power, once unlocked, is unstoppable. It's the power to break free from the chains of self-doubt and take bold, purposeful action toward the life you want. So what are you avoiding? What's that one thing that's been hanging over your head, making you feel stuck? Whatever it is, I challenge you to face it today. Take that first step. Do the thing you've been putting off, and watch what happens when you stop running from discomfort and start running toward growth. Because the fastest way to get where you want to go is to do what you're avoiding. It's time to make that choice. It's time to take action. And once you do, you'll realize that growth isn't just something you wait for. It's something you create. Number 4. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Motivation is a powerful thing, isn't it? When it strikes, you feel unstoppable. Your energy is high, your vision is clear, and you're ready to take on the world. But here's the thing. Motivation doesn't last forever. It's fleeting. One moment, you're on fire, and the next, you're struggling to find the energy to even get started. That's the nature of motivation. It comes and goes. Just like waves on the beach. You can't control when it hits you, and you can't rely on it to keep you going for the long haul. But here's where the secret to true success lies. Discipline. Discipline is the thing that will carry you through when motivation fades away. It's the steady force that keeps you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. Think about the times you've set goals for yourself, whether it's getting in shape, learning a new skill, or building your business. At the beginning, it's easy. You feel motivated. You're excited about the journey ahead. But as the days go by, the motivation starts to fade. The initial excitement wears off, and suddenly you're faced with the reality of the hard work that lies ahead. This is where most people fall off track. They rely on motivation to get them through, and when it's gone, so are they. They stop working out. They stop practicing. They stop pushing forward. They wait for that burst of motivation to return, but it rarely does, not in the way it did at the beginning. So what do you do when the motivation isn't there? What do you do when you wake up and you're just not feeling it? This is where discipline steps in. Discipline is what keeps you showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what keeps you focused on your goals when everything else in your life is pulling you in a million different directions. It's what keeps you grinding, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, and even when it seems like no progress is being made. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you going when your mind is telling you to quit. And here's the thing about discipline. It doesn't require motivation to work. Motivation is like the spark that gets the fire going. But discipline is the fuel that keeps it burning. You don't need to feel motivated to work hard. You just need to commit to doing it, no matter how you feel. It's about building a routine, a system, and sticking to it even when the excitement fades. It's about creating habits that push you forward, even when your emotions are telling you to stop. And over time, those small, disciplined actions add up. They compound, and before you know it, you've built momentum. But here's the kicker. Discipline doesn't come naturally to most people. It's not something you're born with. It's something you have to develop. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And at first, it's tough. It's hard to get out of bed early. It's hard to say no to distractions. It's hard to keep going when you don't see immediate results. But if you stick with it, if you keep showing up, you'll start to see the power of discipline at work. You'll start to notice that you're getting better, faster, and stronger. And eventually, discipline will become second nature. It'll become who you are, not just what you do. So what does discipline look like in real life? It looks like waking up early, even when you'd rather sleep in. It looks like putting in the work every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It looks like sticking to your commitments, even when it's tough, even when you'd rather quit. It's about creating a routine and sticking to it, no matter how you feel in the moment. Discipline is the thing that pushes you to take action, even when the initial excitement is gone, even when the motivation is nowhere to be found. And here's the truth. Discipline is the only thing that will get you through the tough times. There will be moments when you want to give up. There will be days when you feel like you're not making progress. There will be times when you question if it's all worth it. But if you have discipline, you'll keep going. You'll keep pushing forward, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. You'll keep working on your goals, one small step at a time, because you know that success doesn't come from a single burst of motivation. It comes from consistent, disciplined action over time. One of the most powerful things about discipline is that it gives you control. You can't control when motivation hits you. You can't control how you feel on any given day, but you can control your actions. You can control the choices you make, even when you don't feel like making them. And the more you make those disciplined choices, the more control you have over your future. You stop relying on external factors, like how you feel, or whether or not you're motivated, and start relying on yourself. You start to realize that you have the power to shape your life, not based on your emotions, but based on your actions. The beauty of discipline is that it's a long-term game. You might not see the results right away, but they're coming. Every time you show up, every time you do the work, you're planting a seed. And those seeds take time to grow. But if you keep watering them, if you keep nurturing them, they will grow. And when they do, the rewards will be worth it. Because discipline doesn't just create success, it creates consistency. And consistency is the key to achieving anything you want in life. So the next time you find yourself waiting for motivation to strike, remember this: motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. When motivation fades, discipline will carry you through. When the excitement is gone, discipline will keep you moving forward. And when everyone else gives up, discipline will make sure you keep going. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you choose to do, no matter how you feel. And when you choose discipline, you're choosing success. You're choosing to create the life you want, one small action at a time. That's the power of discipline. It's the key to staying on track, to staying focused, and to getting to where you want to go. So make discipline your ally, and let it take you places motivation never could. Number 5, value your time more than money. Your time is the most valuable thing you have. It's the one resource that you can never get back, no matter what. You can always make more money. You can rebuild your business. You can start over in a million different ways. But once your time is gone, it's gone for good. We tend to value money more than anything else. But when you stop and think about it, that doesn't make sense. Money is just a tool. It's a means to an end. It can buy you things, it can buy you comfort, but it can't buy back your time. It can't buy back the moments that have already passed. The time you spend on things that don't really matter is time you'll never get back. And that's why you have to start valuing your time more than money. The way we spend our time directly impacts the life we lead. When you value your time over money, your decisions change. You stop trading hours for dollars, and instead you start thinking about how you can use your time in a way that brings real value into your life. It's about asking yourself, what are you doing with your time? Are you using it to build something that matters to you? Are you using it to create the life you want to live? Or are you just spending it on things that don't move the needle? You see, when you focus on money alone, you can easily fall into the trap of working for it constantly, chasing after it, hustling for it. You can work yourself into the ground, but you still might not feel fulfilled. But when you start focusing on your time, that's when you truly get ahead. You start to realize that your time is better spent building something that brings value to your life, whether that's your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal growth. And it's not about working more hours, it's about working smarter. It's about finding ways to invest your time in things that matter. That's how you build wealth, not just financial wealth, but wealth in every area of your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that time and money are interchangeable. They believe they have to give up their time to make money. But in reality, money is a tool, and time is the true currency. Think about it. You can get a new job, you can start a side hustle, you can invest in something that will bring you a return. But time Time doesn't come back. You can't get a refund on the time you waste. And when you realize this, you start to treat time with the respect it deserves. You stop letting other people waste your time. You stop letting distractions get in the way of what matters most. You start to value every minute, every hour, and every day, because you know that time is the one thing you can't afford to waste. Start thinking about your time like you would money. If someone offered you $100 to spend an hour doing something that didn't benefit you in any way, would you take it? Probably not. So why would you spend an hour doing something that doesn't help you move forward in life? Why would you waste time on things that don't bring you closer to your goals? The truth is, when you start valuing your time more than money, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You stop getting caught up in things that don't help you grow, things that don't push you forward. You'll begin to realize how precious your time really is. And when you do, you'll start making better decisions. You'll start saying no to the things that drain your energy and your time. You'll start saying yes to the things that bring you closer to your goals, to the things that build your future. And most importantly, you'll start making time for the things that really matter: your health, your relationships, your passions, your dreams. These are the things that make life truly rich. Not money, not things, not status. What really matters is how you spend your time and who you spend it with. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The question isn't how much time you have, but how you use it. Time management isn't just about fitting as much as possible into your day. It's about making sure that the things you're doing are worth your time. When you value your time, you start becoming more intentional about how you spend it. You start looking at everything you do and asking yourself, is this the best use of my time? Is this getting me closer to my goals? Is this moving me in the direction I want to go? If the answer is no, you make a change. If it's yes, then you double down on that activity. The beauty of valuing your time is that it doesn't just affect your professional life. It affects everything. When you start managing your time with intention, you start becoming more disciplined. You start making better choices. You start prioritizing what's truly important. And as you continue to do that, you'll begin to see the difference it makes. You'll see your productivity soar, your stress decrease, and your sense of fulfillment increase. The more you value your time, the more you get out of it. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. The best way to value your time is to make the most of it every day. It's about waking up and deciding to use your time in a way that aligns with your values and your vision. It's about making small changes in how you spend your time that add up over time. And it's about making decisions that put your time first. So the next time you're tempted to waste time on something that doesn't serve you, remember this: your time is the most valuable resource you have. Don't let it slip away. When you begin to value your time over money, you start investing in what truly matters. You start investing in your future, in your happiness, in your growth. And that's where the real wealth is. It's not in the money you make. It's in the life you build with the time you have. So start valuing your time. Stop letting distractions steal it. Start using it to create the life you truly want to live. Your time is your life, and that's the most valuable thing you've got. Number 6. The old you can't deliver the life you want. Upgrade or stay behind. If you want to change your life, you can't keep doing the same things you've been doing. The person you are right now is not going to be able to deliver the life you want. It's that simple. Think about it. If you want to level up, if you want to see real change, you need to evolve. The old you can't carry you into the future you dream about. You've got to make a choice. And it's not always an easy one. You can either upgrade yourself or you can stay stuck, staying behind. But if you choose to stay where you are, nothing's going to change. That's just the reality of it. Growth requires change, and that change begins with you. We often hear people say they want a better life, but the truth is, most people don't want to change. They want to stay comfortable in their routines, in their current version of themselves. And while there's nothing wrong with comfort, you have to understand that growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from discomfort. It comes from pushing yourself beyond what you know, beyond the habits and the thinking that's kept you in the same place for years. If you want different results, you have to start doing things differently. And that requires you to upgrade the way you think, the way you act, and the way you view the world. The hardest part of this process is acknowledging that the person you are right now can't deliver the future you want. You have to be willing to let go of your old self. This is the part where most people get stuck. They're afraid to leave their old habits, their old mindset, and their old way of doing things behind. But the truth is, if you're not upgrading, you're falling behind. There's no neutral ground. You can't stand still and expect your life to get better. The world around you is moving, evolving. And if you don't keep up, you'll be left behind. And the reality is, you can't afford to be left behind. This is where it gets tough for a lot of people. The old version of you is comfortable. You know what to expect from it. You don't have to think too hard. You don't have to push yourself. But that version of you won't lead you to success. It won't lead you to the freedom, the growth, and the success you're after. To get where you want to go, you have to upgrade your mindset, your habits, and your skills. You have to start seeing yourself in a new light, a new version of yourself that's capable of doing what you've always wanted to do. Upgrading isn't just about picking up new skills or learning something new. It's about evolving as a person, about becoming the kind of person who is ready for the life you want. You can't expect different results by doing the same things you've always done. If you're still stuck in the same routine, in the same mindset, if you're still thinking the way you used to think, how can you expect to get to the next level? The old you isn't equipped to handle the challenges of tomorrow. You need to upgrade yourself, and that requires change. Think about the most successful people you know. They're not the same as they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They've changed, they've evolved, they've upgraded, and that's why they're getting results that most people only dream of. They understood that if they wanted more, they had to become more. They had to let go of old habits, old thoughts, and old beliefs that were holding them back. They had to face the discomfort of growth and embrace the fact that they couldn't continue to be the person they once were. When you decide to upgrade, you stop making excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for everything to be right. Instead, you take action now. You make the decision to leave behind the old version of yourself that's been holding you back and step into the person who is capable of achieving your goals. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to grow. It's about recognizing that who you are right now is not who you need to be to get what you want. The truth is, you'll never achieve anything significant if you're not willing to change. If you're comfortable where you are, you'll never get to the place you dream of. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, to try new things, to take risks, and to let go of the past. You can't expect your life to change without changing yourself first. The upgrade is always internal. It's about reshaping your beliefs, reprogramming your habits, and redefining who you are at your core. And let's talk about the fear of upgrading. For a moment, fear is a natural part of growth. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel uncertain. But that fear is actually a good sign. It means you're stepping outside of what's familiar, outside of what's comfortable. And every time you do that, you grow. The fear doesn't go away, but you learn how to face it. You learn how to push through it. And when you do, you're rewarded with new levels of success and fulfillment. So when you start thinking about upgrading, don't think about it as something you'll do later. Start now. Start with the smallest change you can make today. Start with one habit you want to change, one mindset you want to shift. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for the right time, because the right time is now. If you wait for everything to align, you'll never make the change. You'll never take the step. So make the decision today. Make the decision that you're going to upgrade yourself and never look back. Upgrading yourself is the key to unlocking the life you want. It's about taking full responsibility for your growth, your actions, and your future. If you want a life of freedom, success, and fulfillment, you can't keep living the way you've always lived. You have to evolve. You have to grow. You have to let go of the old version of yourself and step into a new version, a better version, a version that can handle the success that's coming your way. If you're willing to upgrade to leave behind the person you once were, there's no limit to what you can achieve. but the choice is yours. You can either stay stuck in the past, in the old version of yourself, or you can upgrade and move forward. But know this, if you choose to stay where you are, nothing will ever change. If you choose to upgrade, everything changes. And that's the key to living the life you truly want. Number 7. High standards feel lonely until they start producing results. Setting high standards for yourself can feel isolating and sometimes downright lonely. You set goals that others might not understand, or you push yourself in ways that others aren't willing to do. You start seeing things differently, prioritizing things differently, and suddenly the people around you might not get it. But here's the truth. Loneliness comes with the territory when you aim high. And while it might feel tough in the moment, that loneliness is actually a sign that you're on the right path. What you're doing, what you're striving for, it's not common, it's different. And that difference is why most people won't understand. But here's something important to keep in mind. That loneliness is temporary. It's a phase, a stage you pass through as you push towards your goals. When you set standards that most people would never even dream of setting, you start out feeling like you're in this journey alone. But there's something powerful about keeping those high standards alive, even when no one else is there with you. The results will eventually show up, and that's when the loneliness fades away. That's when you realize that the sacrifices you made, the decisions you stuck to, the discipline you stayed committed to, it all pays off. The thing is, when you're in the process, it's easy to feel like no one gets it. No one sees the work you're putting in. No one sees the effort you're putting into bettering yourself every single day. It might feel like you're doing it all alone, but think about it. You're creating something that most people wouldn't even try to create. You're setting a bar so high that it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the key to your growth. High standards don't feel easy. They demand effort, focus, and an unwavering commitment to your goals. And while others might be content living their lives with lower standards, you're out here pushing the envelope, constantly raising your own bar. That's not something everyone is willing to do. In the beginning, it can be tough. When you start setting those high standards, you begin to separate yourself from the pack. You stop going along with the flow, and you stop accepting the mediocrity that's so common in the world. You start holding yourself accountable for things others don't even think about. You stop letting little failures slide by unnoticed, because you know that in order to achieve something extraordinary, you can't afford to settle. But let me tell you something. That discomfort, that loneliness, it's temporary. You might feel like you're doing everything on your own, but every time you level up, every time you keep pushing when others quit, you get closer to the point where your results speak for themselves. What happens when your results show up is magical. Suddenly people begin to notice. They see the changes in your life, in your energy, in your success. The work you put in, the sacrifices you made, all of it starts paying off. And that's when people start to get it. That's when people look at you and think, wow, they did something different. They see the lifestyle you've built, the confidence you've grown, the success you've achieved, and suddenly they want to know what your secret is. They want to know how you managed to make it happen. And that's when they start to realize you were right all along. Those high standards you set for yourself weren't just some abstract idea. They were the foundation for everything you've achieved. When you're in the thick of it, the rewards aren't always immediate. In fact, you might be putting in the work, day in and day out, with no recognition or validation from anyone. And that's where most people quit. They don't see the immediate results, and they get discouraged. But you can't let that stop you. You can't let the temporary loneliness of high standards break your spirit. Because the truth is, the process will eventually pay off. It might take time, but the right people will start to show up in your life, and the results will start speaking for themselves. This is where most people get stuck. They want the results, but they aren't willing to endure the loneliness that comes with the pursuit. They want the outcome, but they're not willing to walk the path that leads to it. If you want the extraordinary results, you have to be willing to sacrifice the comfort of the ordinary. It's that simple. And when you embrace that, when you accept that high standards will mean periods of loneliness and sacrifice, you'll find yourself stepping into a version of you that's unstoppable. When people see the outcome of your high standards, they don't always see the behind the scene. They don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the mental battles, the times you felt like giving up. They just see the success, the glory, and they think it happened overnight. But you know better. You know that it took grit, discipline, and yes, a fair share of loneliness. You know that the journey was hard. And that's exactly why the results are so sweet. This is where it all comes together. You make the decision to live at a higher level, to raise your standards, and you commit to it, even when no one else is watching, because you know something they don't. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become along the way. It's about pushing yourself through the tough days, through the loneliness, through the doubt, and coming out on the other side, stronger. And once you reach that point, once the results start showing up, you'll realize that all the sacrifices were worth it. The loneliness will fade, and the rewards will speak louder than any of the challenges you faced. But remember this, high standards aren't for the faint of heart. They demand discipline, they demand sacrifice, and they demand a willingness to stand alone when everyone else is going in a different direction. But once the results start coming in, once you start seeing the fruits of your labor, that loneliness will feel like a distant memory. It will be replaced with the satisfaction of knowing you stayed true to yourself, even when no one else understood. And that, my friend, is when the magic happens. Number 8, what you allow in private will show in public. What you allow in private will eventually show in public. That's a simple truth that often gets overlooked. People often think they can hide certain things, especially the habits, thoughts, or actions that happen behind closed doors. They tell themselves, it doesn't matter if I let this slide. No one will see. No one will know. But let me tell you something. Everything you do in private is shaping the person you are and the person you're becoming. What you do when no one's watching eventually reveals itself. Whether you like it or not, it's so easy to think that private actions don't count. You might think that the hours you spend scrolling aimlessly on your phone, the habits you indulge in when no one's looking, the excuses you make to avoid doing what's necessary, they don't matter because no one can see them. But here's the thing. Those private actions are not as private as you think. They build who you are, day by day. Every little decision, every small moment of weakness, every time you take the easy way out instead of doing the hard work, it's all being recorded. Not on paper, not on a video camera, but in the essence of who you are. You see, it's easy to put on a good front. We all do it. We all try to show the world that we have it together. We post the perfect pictures, share the inspirational quotes, and act like everything is great. But that's not the full story. Behind the scenes, behind the social media posts, and the well-crafted presentations, there's another side of you. A side that chooses what to focus on in the quiet moments when no one is around. A side that chooses to either grow or stay stagnant. And as much as you try to hide it, what you do in private shapes everything you show to the world. Think about it. What do you do when no one is looking? How do you spend your time when no one is there to keep you accountable? If you're wasting that time, making excuses, or doing things that don't serve your greater purpose, it's going to show. It's not something you can just ignore and hope for the best. It's like trying to build a house with a weak foundation. No matter how strong the walls are, the structure will crumble eventually. The way you show up when no one is around is the foundation of your future success. It's where your true character is developed. We all have bad habits, things we do in private that we wish we could just get rid of. But it's not about pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing them, confronting them, and choosing to improve. You might think that it's just a small thing, just one little decision, but the truth is that the little things add up. The private moments, the hidden choices, they have a compound effect. Every time you choose not to push yourself, every time you allow distractions to take over, every time you let yourself fall into a cycle of mediocrity, you're strengthening that cycle. But every time you choose discipline, every time you choose growth, every time you hold yourself to a higher standard when no one is watching, you're setting the stage for success. You can't cheat your way to success. You can't cut corners and expect the results to match the effort. What you do in the dark matters just as much as what you do in the light. When you put in the work, when you commit to your growth, when you improve your mindset in private, that's when the magic happens. That's when people start to notice. That's when you start showing up differently in the world. And suddenly everything seems to align. But none of that happens without the work being done when no one is watching. It's those quiet moments, the hours you spend learning, the decisions you make to push through discomfort that shape the person you become. And let's be clear, this isn't just about the big obvious things. It's the small decisions too. It's the moments you choose to invest in yourself, rather than take the easy route. It's how you treat yourself when you're alone, how you talk to yourself when no one else is around. If you allow negativity to take root in your mind, if you allow laziness to creep in when no one's there to hold you accountable, that will eventually show up in how you act, how you show up in the world, and how people perceive you. It doesn't matter if you don't think anyone notices. Your energy, your presence, your work ethic, it all comes from those private moments. The habits you build in private are the habits you carry with you into every situation. If you constantly slack off in private, constantly let yourself off the hook, you'll bring that same energy into your public life. It will show in your performance, in the way you show up for others, in the way you face challenges. People will start to notice the inconsistency. They'll start to see that you talk a good game, but your actions don't align. And that's a tough place to be, because once you lose trust, it's hard to gain it back. But if you choose to develop yourself in those quiet moments, if you choose to hold yourself to high standards when no one is watching, that too will show in public. When you're putting in the work, when you're staying disciplined, when you're constantly growing, it shows in how you walk, how you talk, how you interact with others. You don't have to tell anyone about the hard work you're putting in. They'll see it in the results. They'll see it in your confidence. They'll see it in your success. It's a quiet kind of power, the kind that comes from within and radiates outward. So remember this: what you do in private isn't as private as you think. It's shaping your future. It's shaping who you become. And it's shaping how others perceive you. Don't underestimate the power of your private actions. They're not just for you. They're the blueprint for everything that's to come. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and build the habits that will carry you through to the results you want to see in your life. Because what you allow in private will ultimately show in public. And when it does, make sure it's a reflection of the best version of yourself. Number 9, you'll never be ready. Start anyway. There's this idea that you need to wait for the perfect moment before you can take action. You hear it all the time. I'll do it when I'm ready, or once I have all the information, then I'll start. It sounds logical, doesn't it? You want everything to align perfectly before stepping out. You want the plan, the time, the resources, and the confidence to be in place. But here's the truth that will change everything. You'll never be fully ready. You can plan all you want, but if you wait for the moment when you feel ready, you'll never start. You'll always be in the same spot, waiting for that magic moment that never comes. The thing about life is that it doesn't work like that. There's no perfect moment. There's no ideal time. There's only now. What separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is the ability to take action despite not feeling ready. It's the willingness to move forward in uncertainty, to step into the unknown, and to start even when you feel unprepared. We all want to feel ready before we take action, but that's just fear in disguise. It's the fear of failure, of not being enough, of looking foolish. But let me tell you something. It's not about being ready, it's about being willing. Willing to take that first step, even when you're not sure of the next one. You have to realize that there is no finish line where everything is perfectly aligned, where everything goes exactly the way you want it to go. That's a fantasy. The reality is messy, it's unpredictable, and it's full of moments when you feel like you're stumbling and falling. But here's the beautiful part. Those moments are what lead to growth. You learn in the doing, not the planning. You get stronger through the challenges, not by waiting for them to pass. You don't get better by staying in the comfort zone, by holding back and telling yourself that now isn't the right time. No, you get better by stepping out, by starting where you are with what you have. The more you delay, the more you're simply prolonging the struggle. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. That's the catch. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can stop waiting and start doing. Think about anything you've accomplished in life. Did you have everything figured out before you started? Probably not. In fact, the more you think about it, the more you realize that some of the best things that happened to you came out of the moments when you took a leap, even though you weren't sure what the landing would look like. Those are the moments that shape you. It's like learning how to ride a bike. You didn't start out being able to ride perfectly. You wobbled, you fell, you felt scared, but eventually you got better because you kept going. You got better by staying in motion. You got better by starting, and then adjusting as you went. And that's exactly how life works. Waiting to feel ready is a trap. It's like telling yourself you're going to wait until the stars align to take action. It's a lie we tell ourselves to avoid taking responsibility for our own progress. It's easier to wait for the right time, to justify staying stuck in the same place than it is to admit that the real reason we're not moving forward is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But guess what? Everyone feels that. Everyone. The successful people, the ones who've achieved great things, they don't have some special gift that makes them immune to fear. The difference is that they don't let that fear stop them. They move forward anyway. It doesn't matter if you have all the answers or not. It doesn't matter if you're not sure how it's all going to turn out. What matters is that you take the first step. That's the only thing you have control over. The next step, you can't control the future. You can't predict what will happen, but you can control whether or not you start. And if you start, you'll figure it out along the way. The more you act, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more ready you become. But you have to take that first step. You have to break free from the idea that you need everything to be perfect before you act. Here's the thing about waiting to feel ready. It doesn't serve you. It keeps you stuck in a loop of inaction. It gives you a false sense of security, but it doesn't actually move you forward. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. The fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough. It all grows with time. The more you put off starting, the more overwhelming it becomes. And the more convinced you'll be that you're not ready. But that's the illusion. The truth is that you're more ready than you think. You've got everything you need to start. You have everything inside of you right now to take that first step. It's time to stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the stars to align. The moment you're waiting for is here. It's now. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a moment when everything is just right. So why not start now? Why not begin today? The path to success doesn't start with having all the answers. It starts with taking the first step, even if you don't know where that step will lead. The important thing is that you start moving. Once you take that first step, the next one becomes easier. And the step after that easier still. And it doesn't matter if you fail. Failure isn't the enemy. Failure is the best teacher you can have. You learn from it, you adjust, and you keep moving forward. The key is that you never stop moving. You never stop learning. You never stop improving. That's how you get better. That's how you make progress. You'll never be perfectly ready, but you don't need to be. You just need to start. And once you start, the rest will take care of itself. It always does. So stop waiting, stop putting it off, and start today. You've got everything you need to make it happen. Just begin. Number 10. You'll only rise as high as your daily standards. The truth is, your life will never rise higher than your daily standards. And let's be clear. This isn't about some arbitrary measure of success. It's about how you show up every single day, every small decision you make, every little action you take, the way you carry yourself in the world. That's all based on your standards. You can have big dreams, but those dreams are only achievable if you're constantly raising your daily standards to match them. Most people want to get the rewards without doing the work that earns those rewards. But here's the reality. Success isn't something that's going to fall into your lap. It's something you earn every day with the standards you set for yourself. Let's talk about standards. Standards are the rules you live by. They are the expectations you set for yourself. How you handle your time, the quality of your work, the way you show up in your relationships, and how seriously you take your goals. Some people set low standards for themselves and wonder why they don't get the results they want. They wonder why they don't have the success they dream of. But here's the thing. Your life will never exceed your standards. If you want to see a change, you have to raise the bar. You have to demand more of yourself each day, even when it feels uncomfortable or difficult. You see, when you set high standards for yourself, it's not just about achieving something big down the road. It's about the person you become along the way. It's about the habits you form, the discipline you build, and the integrity you uphold. High standards are what shape your character. It's easy to say you want success, but true success comes from the person you become in the pursuit of that success. And that person will only emerge if you hold yourself to a higher standard each day. Think about it. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by taking shortcuts. They didn't get there by doing things half-heartedly. They got there because they held themselves to a higher standard in every area of their lives. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. In fact, raising your standards will challenge you. It'll push you to your limits. It'll force you to let go of old habits and comfort zones that have been holding you back. It might even make you uncomfortable. But here's the thing. The people who rise to the top aren't the ones who are comfortable. They're the ones who push through the discomfort. They're the ones who keep showing up, day after day, despite the setbacks, despite the failures, despite the obstacles. They keep raising their standards until they reach levels they never thought possible. But it starts with small steps. Raising your standards doesn't mean you have to change everything overnight. It means making one small change today that will lead to bigger changes tomorrow. If you want to be more productive, start by setting the standard that you'll wake up earlier and work on your goals for an hour before the day gets away from you. If you want to improve your health, set the standard that you'll take care of your body every day, even if it's just a little bit at a time. If you want to improve your relationships, set the standard that you'll give more of yourself, that you'll show up for the people in your life in ways that matter. The key is consistency. It's not enough to raise your standards once and expect your life to change. You have to consistently meet those standards. You have to hold yourself accountable every single day. Because success doesn't come from one big moment of brilliance. Success comes from the small actions you take every single day, no matter how insignificant they may seem. It's the choice to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. It's the decision to stay focused, even when distractions are all around you. It's the willingness to put in the hard work, even when the results aren't immediately visible. The truth is, it's easy to let your standards slip. It's easy to fall into the trap of being good enough and telling yourself that you don't need to do more. But if you want to rise, you can't afford to settle for mediocrity. You can't afford to let laziness or complacency creep in. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard, even when it feels tough. Because here's the reality. Success doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary. It comes from doing the work that others won't do. It comes from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. And this isn't just about you. When you raise your standards, you not only improve your own life, but you inspire others to do the same. You set an example for the people around you. When you show up at a higher level, you raise the collective standard of those you work with, your friends, your family, your community. High standards are contagious. When you raise your own standards, you become a leader. People look to you, and they want to know how you're doing it. They want to know how you're able to stay focused, how you're able to push through when times are tough, how you're able to keep going when others give up. And when they see that you've raised your standards, they'll be inspired to do the same. But none of this happens overnight. Raising your standards is a process. It's something you have to commit to every single day. You have to wake up with the intention to be better than you were yesterday. You have to choose to take action, even when you don't feel like it. You have to decide to show up for yourself, even when no one else is watching. You have to keep pushing, even when the results aren't coming as fast as you want them to. The most successful people are the ones who are willing to raise their standards, not just when things are going well, but when things get tough. They don't back down when life gets hard. They don't lower their expectations when they hit obstacles. Instead, they rise to the challenge, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. And that's the key to success, understanding that your standards shape your life. If you want to rise higher, if you want to achieve more, then start by raising your standards. Start by demanding more of yourself every single day, because you'll only rise as high as your daily standards. And if you're ready to rise to the top, the first step is to raise the bar for yourself. Don't settle for less. Demand the best from yourself, and you'll see your life transform. If you've made it this far, you're already on the right track. The truth is, most people will never take the steps you just heard about. They'll keep waiting, keep doubting, and keep making excuses. But not you. You've got the power to change your life by taking action today. Remember, the life you want doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from consistently raising your standards and committing to your growth, no matter how challenging it gets. You're capable of more than you realize. And the only thing standing between you and success is the decision to start. So take what you've learned today and begin applying it right now. Don't let this moment pass you by. The results you're after will come, but only if you act. Keep pushing, keep growing, and remember, you hold the keys to your own success. Thanks for watching, and let's keep moving forward together.